This video demonstrates how to do masking in VDMX5 Beta 8. Masking is basically the process of modifying an image or video's alpha channel. So when that image or video is composited with other images or video, it looks a little bit differently because the alpha channel is determining which areas of the layer are being composited and which areas are being ignored. If you've ever worked with a stencil or anything like that, that's kind of how masking works. It's the same basic idea. Alpha channels determine what parts of an image are composited. They basically determines the opacity of different parts of the image. Within VDMX, this is kind of straightforward to do. Basically, in VDMX, you trigger media files back on layers, and the layers are composited with one another. All of these layers always have alpha channels all the time. If you're not doing anything with the alpha channel, it's just basically assumed to be completely opaque, so the image is going to be fully available. If you want to perform masking, all you have to do is add an effect to a layer that modifies that layer's alpha channel. So what we're going to be doing now is we're going to be applying one layer as an alpha channel. We're going to be taking one layer and we'll be applying its image to another layer's alpha channel. So in order to do this, we need a couple layers. First of all, we need the layer that we're going to trigger the mask on. This is going to be the layer that has the actual mask image. So we're going to call this the mask source. And in my media bin, I'm going to select the mask source layer, and I'm going to trigger this, this moving circle on it over here. Alright, we're going to need a second layer. This layer is going to be what we are going to be applying the mask to. So this is the image that's going to be getting masked, and we're going to call this the mask target. And in the media bin, I'm going to select mask target, and I guess we're going to mask this, let's mask this gray field down here. And lastly, we're going to want a third layer, and this is going to be our background layer. This is going to be the layer that we're going to see through the mask, so it's going to be behind the layer being masked. So I make a new layer, and I'm going to call this the background. And in the media bin, let's trigger this blue thing on the background. Okay, so now I've got three different layers. I've got the layer that I want to use as a mask. I got the layer that I want to apply the mask to, and I have a background. Well, I don't need to have this mask source visible in my output. I don't necessarily want to see it. I just want to use it as a mask for something else. So I inspect it up here in the workspace inspector, and then I'm going to click this hide button, and then you notice that the circle that was moving around here disappeared. Okay, let's select this mask target layer. This is the layer that I want to mask. I want this to be opaque. I want it to obscure the layer beneath it except where it's masked off. So I'm going to change its composition mode to OpenGL over, and now the gray spinning cubes are completely obscuring the blue layer beneath it. And if we take the gray cubes and we quickly drop its opacity, we can see that the blue layer is in fact underneath it. Okay, what we want to do now is we want to take that mask source layer, we want to take that spinning circle, and we want to apply it to the mask target layer's alpha channel. And the way we do this is very simple. We just load an effect that does that. So we click over here, and then in the color effects category, we want to select the layer mask effect right down here. So we select that, and you'll see the layer mask effect gets added to my effects chain over here. And then all we have to do is we have to specify what we want to use as the mask image. So in this mask image pop-up menu down here, we're going to select the mask source. And as you can see, that little spinning circle is now being used as the mask and is showing the gray area on top of the blue background. The layer mask effect also has a couple other controls that are kind of useful. First of all, it has an offset control that can be used to completely fade the mask in or out. This is basically taking the mask image and it's making it either all the way black, which is completely invisible, or all the way white, which is completely opaque. And of course, the default value is 0. And of course, the layer mask effect also has a contrast slider. And this contrast slider, if you're not using an alpha channel, if you're not using a mask source that isn't just straight up black and white, this lets you adjust the contrast of the mask image. So it lets you make the mask a little bit more apparent. It also lets you quickly invert the mask, which is kind of handy. So now the white circle is punching out the top layer versus now it's just masking out the top layer. That's pretty much it. Again, masking is just modifying the alpha channel of a layer, so when it's composited with other layers, it looks different. Yeah, there you go.